Hi there everyone, Helena here, and this morning I am so excited to be joined by someone that I've admired for a very, very long time, and that is the masterful Maddi Cook, the founder of Boss Your Salon. Now, Boss Your Salon serves to help hair, beauty and nail professionals to set boundaries in their business, to price their services perfectly so that they can make maximum profit, and also avoid burnout, which I know some people are very guilty of. I think the pressures of this industry sometimes and all that's involved in running a business can really start to take their toll. So Maddi has in fact helped 15,000 hair and beauty professionals in all aspects of their business. So her advice has been so valuable that we snapped her up as a Scratch columnist for 2023, and she's been imparting her wisdom for the last 10 months in every issue of Scratch magazine. So she's going to tell us all about what she does, and if you have any questions, as usual, please do pop them in the comments and we'll ask them to Maddi. Bear with. She's coming through. Here she comes. Hi, Maddi.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. It's so nice to kind of finally see you face to face after so many emails, I think.
Emails and texts, yeah.
But like I said, we've admired your work at Scratch for such a long time, and the impact that you've had on the lives really of so many industry professionals. But what's your journey been? How did you get to this point?
At the beginning, it was very accidental. I'd love to say that it was really strategic and planned out, but it was very, if you're into the universe vibes, maybe it was a bit of that. So I had a salon, so my background is hairdressing in particular. It was extensions, and one day the postman came, and I just had a big pile of letters and stuff, and I flicked through, and there was a leaflet in there for a business course, and it was back pre-Brexit day, so it was funded by the wonderful EU. If I'm being perfectly honest, I was like, oh, freebies, and they do stuff where they put you up in a hotel for a couple of nights. I thought, oh, that sounds really nice. And so I went, and the first one that I ever did was 2 days, I think it was about 2 weeks apart, with a consultant, and it was about like kind of growth strategy stuff. And when your eyes are just open, like that phrase, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And I just went and was like, I have I have no idea what I'm doing. But it felt really exciting because I thought there's just so much for me to learn. And fun little story actually. We just hired that same consultant to work with us this year because at the time I was like, he was telling me about all these businesses that he worked with, and I was like, God, I'd love to, one day work with someone like this. And we finally did 5 years later, so that's
Oh,
really
full
cool.
circle.
Very full circle. I love a bit of that. But yeah, then once you're kind of in the mix of those things, obviously you're on the email list, you're in the Facebook groups, and you kind of get more opportunities for these things. So I just took it with both hands. I was like, there is just so much out there to learn. I love learning. I was like reading books and podcasts and all this jazz. So that's kind of how it started. And then I was just like a member of other groups, like hair extension Facebook groups. And I just started noticing people were like, Maddie will know this. I like this. This sounds like a Maddie question. And I was getting DMs, and I spot patterns quite well. And I started to see like, this is the same sort of thing getting asked over and over again. It's like really similar challenges, like very sort of universal problems that people were facing. And really it was more out of like time efficiency that I thought, rather than answering 10 questions, I'll open a little Facebook group. I'll have my mates in, my other hair extension friends, and if I can answer it there, it might help a couple more people. And that group now has 30,000 people in.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
You've
My
got your
little,
work cut out, and I think
yeah.
it's probably, I mean, did you expect it to have that kind of impact?
No, not at all. I didn't expect any of this. If you'd have told me in February 2018, when I started Bossy Salon, that this is what would, life and business would be like 5 years later. Like, I don't do hair anymore. I stopped doing hair I had back surgery,
Right.
because my back was mangled from doing hair. And I had that at the end of 2021, and I didn't go back to doing hair after that. But yeah, just just a kind of very weird turn of events. And then with the pandemic, that's when a lot of people really kind of found me in the pandemic, because there was just so much sort of misinformation,
Mhm.
rumor mills. People were sharing stuff on Facebook that wasn't true, and it was terrifying people. And obviously I had loads of time then, because I didn't have this, my salon was closed.
But
So
I think also the pandemic gave any business really the opportunity to sit back and reflect. Obviously,
mhm,
hair, beauty, nail professionals, they couldn't work. So,
mhm,
as restless as we all are, we had to look at other areas to kind of keep ourselves busy. And a lot of people invested in online courses or
yeah,
in ways to kind of reflect on their business and what they could do to come out of COVID and make things better and get back on that ladder again. So
yeah.
having someone like you there was probably such a great source of comfort and great information.
Yeah, that's it. I think there was like a period, and I had this the first couple of weeks when I had to close my salon, and especially before anyone knew what sort of grants anyone was getting, and there was that real kind of mystery few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I was just like everyone else, just headless chicken, like, and I think there was a bit of like losing your identity, because you were like, what am I if I don't do hair
Yeah.
anymore, like, that kind of thing. And then I just thought, and Bossy Salon at that point was like a side
Mm-hmm.
hustle, and I thought, do you know what? I've got this thing. I'm just going to pour like every bit of time and energy into this, and just try and help people. When I saw how much everyone was kind of struggling and feeling really worried and distressed, and yeah, the pricing stuff came from just one post in the group. I just said, I'm thinking about doing this. Would anyone find it helpful? Like a course on pricing, and I had about 100 yeses. I thought, oh, that's good enough for me. Um, I started it. It was a spreadsheet. The first thing that I did with pricing, and then again we've just got 5,000 users in the last 3 years.
One of those users is my nail tech, and she swears by your pricing
Oh,
calculator
you're
that
so
you
nice.
created. So, she when I went to her and I said that you were going to be one of our columnists, she was so excited. She was like, I've set my prices because of Maddie. So, and I think having that and having your voice and having that relationship that you have with industry professionals, I think it's very unique in that um, it, you're so relatable, and you've come out with this calculator that you've created yourself. How does it work? What do you take into account for people?
So how it kind of started, and I just want to be really clear, like, I was terrible at pricing. Like, I think people have this assumption. I think I wrote it in one of the in one of the columns. It might be an upcoming one about, like, I didn't come out of the womb knowing how to price. Contrary to popular belief, I've always been like good at maths and good with numbers, and a bit of a nerd and into spreadsheets and stuff. But my pricing was so bad before. I did the usual thing that everyone does. I looked at other people. No one had taught me, and that's like the pattern really. So you're just winging it, and then you go, well, other people probably know what they're doing, so I'll just look at their prices. And um, as I've learned now, having surveyed nearly 20,000 people about this, 80% of people copied or guessed to get to their pricing. So like the person that you copied someone else, and they copied someone else, and they copied someone else. So there's that. And I just had this realization when like the math wasn't mathing. I was like, I'm working really hard, but like my life doesn't feel like I am. And I was still in a lot of, like robbing Peter to pay Paul, putting extensions on credit cards, struggling to pay that back, even though I was taking money, but it just didn't seem to be adding up, and I was just knackered. I worked 3 jobs at one point.
Wow.
There was a period where I worked 100 days without a day off. And it was at that point that I thought, maybe I'm not doing this right. And that's when I went on that pricing journey. And I had to look like outside of the industry, because there wasn't really anyone doing it where, for me, that where the maths made sense. There was always like, well, they're missing this. People were going, well, what do you want to make in an hour? I'm like, yeah, but what about when you're not at work, or what about your lunch break, which
Yeah.
we should have, or what about they were doing it over like a 52-week year, and I'm like, do we not get time off ever?
Yeah.
So there was just all these sort of little gaps. And one of the things it takes into account is how much do you want to earn, like in profit, what do you want to be left with? And it's the first question I ask, and it's often the hardest question, because we just don't think like that
Yeah.
as self-employed people, the way that we see profit, the first time we tend to see profit is when we do our tax return, which is like a blind panic at the end of January. And we're in this weird split mind of, I want to have made money. I don't know why did you see balloons there?
The balloons, yeah.
This happened on a Zoom I was on yesterday, and I was like, where did the balloons come
We'll take it.
I just got an iOS notification, so I'm sorry, but something's exciting's happening on my phone. I'm just so thrilled.
It's an exciting Instagram live. So what can we say?
The joy of live things. Yeah, the first time we see our profit is usually doing a tax return, and we usually split between, I want to have made money, but I also haven't saved anything for tax, so I also kind of don't want to have made that much. And if you think in the UK, when that time falls, like our tax year is the 6th of April till the 5th. So by the time we do our tax return, that's like between 18 to 24 months after you've actually made that money. So if you get your tax return and go, oh, that didn't feel like that much profit, one, it's really hard to look so far back and sort of work out why that was, like to really pinpoint it. And even if you can, you're already like 9 months into the next tax year. You're nearly into the following tax year. So we're constantly playing catch up when it comes to like our finances. And I've had to kind of really teach people to work now for how they want to, what profit they want to make in the future. And actually a lot of the time people are like, I have no idea how much money I make or how much I want to make. So we have to kind of go a bit in depth to that. But yeah, it takes every single thing. So like personal stuff, business stuff, how fast you work, the goals for everything. Like we even cover a budget for charity. So I find a lot of people want to give freebies, or they want to give, like emotional discounts, or they want to maybe sponsor something or give a donation or something like that. But they don't actually have the means. They're not really in a position to give it. So what I want to help them do is create a budget where it kind of, essentially it'll take like 10 pence from every client, but it then creates this pot so you actually have a budget to do that. Because that's what businesses do. Businesses have a budget for these things. It's like allocated.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the main things that I see with nail professionals in particular is that they don't tend to charge their worth. And I think that's such a huge problem in this industry, because I do think, and I think you've written about it in one of your comments, in one of your columns, that there is an inferiority complex out there. And I think that your pricing calculator really helps people to kind of realize what they should be charging in order to make it, because ultimately, as much as everybody loves what they do, you work to live, and you work for money, and it needs to be on the right kind of path for things like that. So I mean, that's one of the mistakes that I feel that a lot of nail pros make, is the not charging your worth. What are the other kind of common business mistakes that you see?
So as I said before, it's just the looking to see what other people are doing, but not realizing that they did the exact same thing. And on the other side of that is, even if you copy from someone whose prices are right. So I always say, if you cheat and find someone who's worked with me and go, oh well, they've worked with Maddi, so theirs will be okay. They're only okay for them, they're not okay for you. So let's say you're comparing to this, let's say Sandra. If Sandra works faster than you, if Sandra uses cheaper products, what if Sandra has a sponsorship from a brand, so she's getting loads of freebies? What if Sandra has an assistant? What if Sandra works from home and there's no overhead? Sandra has no debt, she's paid a mortgage off, she's got 100 grand of inheritance in the bank, she's got investments in properties. Sandra can work very comfortably for half of what you can. If you have debt, if you have a mortgage, if you have kids, if you have credit cards and car finance, you prices need to be different. So I can't stress enough that your prices do not live on anyone else's price list. It might so happen that you come to the final price and it's similar, but what went into that is different. So if you just copy someone's and then copy their increases, there's going to be a time when it's not right. And I think what I learned really quickly is that with pricing, it's much less about the numbers, and it's more about the mindset. It's about this idea of like worthiness, and it's this absolute fear of my clients are going to leave. That's what just drives people to keep their prices low. this idea of like, I'll put my prices up, everyone will kick off, I'll have bad reviews,
Mhm.
there'll be like the pitchforks and torches and
Yeah.
all of this, and then every single person will cancel, and then I'll have to live in a bin. Like that's where the
It's exactly that, is it? And funny enough, I was on an interview yesterday, and um, we were saying that in the hair industry, people are quite happy to pay £150 to get their hair coloured and cut and dyed, but they might stick. Like, what's the difference between paying for that service and you're paying a premium for that service,
Mhm,
and people are quibbling over a few pounds, for their nail service? That's not necessarily the case.
mhm,
I'm sure that regular clients will more than understand, everything's gone up,
mhm.
if you put your prices up, and if they don't, there will always be someone that is willing to come to you.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's
yeah,
it's all in the marketing as well, and how you
exactly.
push yourself, promote yourself, and value your worth.
Yeah, totally. Like, what I see a lot of content where we're really justifying what the price is, and I see a lot of price increase announcements that make my heart ache, because it's like, I am so deeply sorry and I regret this, and unfortunately I've got no choice but to put my prices up, and it's like this really traumatic, I'm on my hands and knees begging you kind of thing. And I sort of think, I always think of all the businesses. I'm like, when Apple sell phones,
Yeah.
they and they're expert. Like, my phone is £1,500 because I wanted a terabyte of storage, because I can't be asked to delete air photos from like 10 years ago, right? And I hate when it tells me it's full, so I just go, I'll pay for a terabyte, right? When I made that buying decision, at no point was I told, or did I care about, how much the glass cost, how much the cost of their rent for their factory was, what wages they pay their engineers, how much the electricity was to produce
Yeah.
whatever. All I'm bothered about is, what about me? Will I like this phone? Is the camera good? Is it easy to use? Will it integrate with all my other Apple stuff? Um, and that's what we forget, is the clients don't care, and I mean that in a really loving way. They just don't care that your bills have gone up, or that it's, and they know this, they're like aware of it, but that is not how people make the buying decision. So we've got to learn how to articulate the value in what we do, um, and understand our USP, so like your unique selling point, how you're better, how you're different from other people, and just understand a bit more about like the buyer's journey, buyer psychology, like why people actually pay for these things.
Yeah.
I mean, I would honestly go without anything before I go without my nails.
Mhm.
And I get a lot of stuff done, but my nails is like
Yeah.
the top, because I talk like this so you can see them all
Yeah,
the
that's the
time.
thing, isn't it? Well, I think we've both been doing that. It's such first
Yeah,
thing. It's the first thing you do when you meet people, that people
yeah,
see. They judge you on your nails. If a man's got filthy
yeah.
fingernails,
You're like,
then
oh,
and he's at a business meeting, or he's getting his photos
yeah,
taken for a wedding, it just looks poor, doesn't it?
yeah,
It's a representation of you. It's some of the first things that people
yeah.
see.
And it's not. I'm not paying my nail artist for the physical gel she uses off of the tools. I'm paying her what I get to walk around and look at for the weeks in between me seeing her, and also how I feel in that appointment as well. And shout out to Hilda, who's an incredible nail artist. But yeah, it's like we've got to understand that. But I feel like so many people are just like, well, I'm no better than anyone else, like I'm no different, or they'll always, your brain will always serve you the excuses first of like, but I just work from home, my salon's not this high-end fancy Mayfair salon. But I firmly believe whatever you set up, there's something good in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about leaning into that, like rather than going, well, you work from home, oh, I don't have a salon. It's about who is me working from home really good for,
Mhm.
um, and speaking to that person as well, and kind of leaning into that and making that actually your USP as well. So I think there's like all these different factors. It's the numbers stuff, it's the mindset stuff, and it's the kind of marketing and positioning side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you do so much to help others through Bosch Salon. We've had some lovely comments about you and how your pricing calculator has helped. And someone said that Bosch Salon has really helped their business.
Oh.
Now, you also have a sort of an area where it's all about setting boundaries. Now, can you
Hmm.
tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so um I just kind of make stuff based on what I see people experiencing and what my experiences were. And what I started to notice is that after after helping people with pricing, they were like, okay, I can do this, I can implement the prices, but I can't say no.
Yeah.
So they were kind of expecting clients to leave,
Hmm.
which would free them up a bit more time. Let's say they're really busy. The clients didn't. So they've got this like, well, I'm making more money, which is great, but
Yeah.
I'm also still, working 60 hours. And I just realized that people pleasing is very prevalent in our industry. I think it attracts that type.
Hmm.
And there was just this real struggle to say no to people, to just be firm in, that no might be, no, I can't work this
Yeah.
night, or no, I can't start at 7 in the morning, or no, I can't do this service because it's actually going to put your nails into like a poor state of health. No, I can't give you the voucher for the award ceremony. So we're just like give without, and it's like at a loss to us. So that's kind of what I started seeing, and I thought, okay, I'm going to put something together for this. Um, and my big love around this is like policies.
Hmm.
And in my big Facebook group, probably half of the challenges that are raised, I will comment and go, what was your policy?
Yeah.
And they'll go, well, I don't have one. Okay, well then you're screwed and there's nothing that you can do. But we learn a lesson.
Yeah.
Let's get one in today so this doesn't happen. Or people have policies but they don't enforce them,
Hmm.
in which case you may as well just not have the policy. Like, we don't do it for fun. I see people just like hemorrhaging money to like no shows, late cancellations. Even a policy I love and many people don't have is a change of mind policy. So for me, doing extensions, if I had someone booked in for like a full
Yeah.
head refit, and they get there on the day and go, actually, I just want them out, that's like that's like over £100 difference. So I implemented a change of mind policy, and it worked the same way as a late cancellation. If you change your mind, you need to tell me more than X number
Hmm.
of days. If you don't, you will pay, the appointment that you've booked for. And when you
Brilliant.
tell people that, I just say, well, here's your choices. I can either remove them or I can refit them. It's going to cost you the refit. What do you want?
Exactly.
I'll refit
It's like
them.
relating that to nails. If someone's booked in for level 3 nail art, as some people do, and
Yeah.
£60 or whatever for each good
Mhm.
nail art, yet on the day they come and be like, actually, I want a one colour overlay, then you've lost money if you haven't got a change of
Absolutely.
mind policy in place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's fascinating the detail that you kind of go into with that. And with Boss Your Salon, how can anyone watching today get involved and learn more and absorb more of what you do?
Yeah. So I always recommend people start with, I've got a free masterclass, and it's called How to Overcome the 5 Most Common Pricing Mistakes. Whether you haven't even started self-employed, or whether you've been in this for like 40 years, go to that. There will be something in there for you that you'll come away and go, okay, this makes sense. It's free, so anyone can attend. I wanted it available to literally every single person. Um, and then from there, obviously, you can, if you want to use a calculator, you can. If you want to look at bossy boundaries, you can. I have a kind of sales and marketing program, and then I have a program like a group coaching program for people who are fully booked and want to drop a day a week without losing profit. So there's like different points that you can work with depending on where your business is, but start at the
Mhm.
masterclass. Also, you'll get a really good feel for me and my style, because if we're going to spend a bit of time together, we need to make sure that that feels okay. There's a lot of hand talking and fast talking, so if that's your jam, and a lot of motivational kicks up the bum. But yeah, that's where I would start, and then just take what you need. I post a lot on Instagram. Just go and take whatever you need. Like, I always say, it's like a buffet. Go see what you like the taste of. Have a bit more of that. Leave that if it's not for you, and just take what you need. That's what it's there for.
Brilliant. And I think I mean, I've said to you before, every but I love the way that you write and you speak to
Thank
people,
you.
because it's not just business prose that people can switch off from. It's very relatable, it's very chatty, but it's very well, yeah, it is easy to kind of understand. It's not jargon. You're literally like,
No.
this is real. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. this is what you need to
Yeah.
do. And it's just so straight talking, and you have such a great relationship, it seems, with, I mean, with all the fans we've got on today, with people that have signed up and that have used your services, or done one of your courses.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic thing to do. But do you have, I mean, how does your ship run? Like, do you have kind of
It's a
support? You
loose
said
ship.
you've got some stuff it's like
No. So behind the scenes now, so there's me. My husband Aidan has worked in the business since 2020. Because it got so crazy in the lockdown, and then now, you know, we went back to work, was it like the August before the other lockdowns? And I was just like, I'm going to really struggle to not only just see every single one of my hair clients, but also, you know, run this. And he'd been in his job for like 10 years. And I was like, please leave your very steady job for this thing that's been busy for about 2 minutes. And I begged him and I begged him, and he did. And he still, you know, he still does that. But we have no employees. We've got some really wonderful kind of contractors who work with us. We've got Kim, who helps with the group. I've got Abby, who is my online business manager. There's people that I work with kind of project based. I've got a team who run Facebook ads. So it's definitely not just me. And if anyone, you know, because I speak with aspiring educators who sort of see the business, and, you know, we're lucky to travel a lot, and they're trying to do that in 2 hours a week around doing nails for 40 hours. I want to be really honest and be like, there is so much that is going on behind the scenes that allows me to sort of work like this. So it's important for me, for like transparency and integrity, to not be, you know, there's a lot of marketing that's like, you can be just like me, but it's, you know, that's one of the reasons that I made Breakthrough, was to help people to free a whole day up. And a lot of those are aspiring coaches and educators, because I was kind of sick of people saying, you can do this, from also fitting into a really busy life. And I was like, you can't, we need to get you a little bit of time. So yeah, I'd rather be honest than
and
not.
I think that is why you're so successful as well. And I think we're in such a personal industry, and with that comes its problems, but it also comes its benefits. It's that you can have that kind of closer relationship with the people in your Facebook group, but it also means, on the flip side, some of the problems stem from nail professionals, beauty professionals having a relationship with their client that's grown into one where they're telling them all their stories, and then they feel that they can almost take advantage of the professional with that, oh, I'm sorry, I'm 20 minutes late, sorry, but you'll fit me in. And you help them to kind of establish those boundaries, set those policies, and stand up for themselves to build them as better business people.
And I try and really model that and embody that. So like, in Boss Your Salon, I have really tight policies. Like, my terms for Breakthrough are probably heavier than your mortgage terms, like, because I want to walk my talk, and I don't, you know, if I'm teaching you to do this and I expect you to stand in front of your client and say, these are the consequences if you do X, Y, and Z, I have to do exactly the same. So at the beginning of every program that I do live, I have like an expectations talk, and I'll say, this is what you can expect from me. This is what I expect from you. This is what happens if either of us, you know, don't do that. But I also do it because I want to show people how it feels to receive them, because I believe that with boundaries and policies, it actually makes people feel safe. I feel much better knowing what's expected of me and what will happen if I don't, then, you know, imagine if you booked a holiday and they went, oh, don't worry about deposit, but we'll not send you an email, just turn up on the day, it'll be fine. You'd be like, I kind of want to just double check that it's booked and that I've got my seat and I've got my baggage. We feel good knowing exactly what's going to happen. So I think that's a nice little reframe when we're thinking that we're being easy breezy, that actually can feel quite uncertain and unsafe for people, that setting expectations actually does tend to make people feel safe and feel good.
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, we've spoken about the key facets of what you offer in terms of a lot of hair and beauty pros that need help with their pricing and setting their boundaries. Have you noticed any other kind of issues that are arising in the industry in terms of business people, that not necessarily mistakes that have been making, but general feelings about business that they might need help with?
So there's a few. So I think there's a really big challenge with employment,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll hold my hands up. That's not my jam. Go speak to people who do great work in leadership. My friend Hilly Jepson's brilliant at this. There's people who are great with like recruitment and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So I know there's people struggling. I see that there's a divide. I see it a lot in hair. Maybe I'm not sure how much this is in nails. There's a very big us and them divide between the salon owners and the freelancers, which I'm not about. I think we can, there's space for everyone and we can sort of work together. I did see this problem with like marketing and
Mm-hmm.
selling. So that's why I put together Elevate, because I think we're showing up on social media the same way we've done for the last 10 years.
Mm.
And especially in nails, where they'll go pink to make the boys wink, and then just write all of the products that they've used. And I'm like, oh, you've really missed a good opportunity
Yeah.
here to go into some details. Um, and I think it's called market sophistication, but clients have become more sophisticated, like people who are on social media who are making those buying decisions. They're not going to make a decision based on just seeing you go, here's a mocha latte color, or, and we do this in hair as well. Um, so I wanted to teach people about that, like how to really connect with their audience and understand where they're at in the buying journey and how we can kind of convert more people, because I saw people were getting worried that they were quiet. The thing that I'm on at the moment, and you'll see a lot of my content about this, is it's really mindset stuff, I guess, and it's about what's in your control.
Right.
So for example, I see people who'll go, is anyone else quiet? And I'm like, why are you asking if anyone else is quiet? Why aren't you asking? The question I would ask is anyone busy? How did you get
Yeah.
busy? Because asking others who are quiet doesn't make you any more busy. It just kind of makes you feel less alone.
Left alone, yeah, exactly
But it
that.
doesn't solve your problem, and I'm a big problem solver. So my thing is always, is there anything that I would like to be doing? Who's done it, and how can I work with them or find out, how to get what, where they are. And I see this gap in like maybe it's like a passive, oh, I just hope it'll get busier.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll go, it's quiet because of this,
Mm.
rather than, is there anything in my control that
Yeah.
I could do? Same thing as the policies and stuff. Like people are, it's like life happens to me. People are treating me badly. People are cancelling on me. And I'm like, write some policies and enforce them. I think it's like helping people to see that there's so much more in their
Yeah.
control, and focusing on the stuff that isn't helpful. It's like a one-way ticket to
Yeah.
misery, really. Like, and getting people to just be a bit more empowered to just take the reins back of the business and go, if I want this, I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to take the action required to get there, rather than going, this is really hard, and this thing's impacting me. You can't change a cost of living crisis, but you are responsible for how you navigate that.
Yeah.
And there are things that you can do that will make that better for you.
Yeah.
It's hard to hear sometimes. I've had people like quite upset because
Good.
it's not nice. It's not nice to hear. I understand that, but everything I say comes from a place of, I just want better for the industry, and I know that that it's available to them.
Yeah.
So I just want to help with that.
Absolutely. And I mean, in the comments, you've been described as bestest mentor ever. So there we
Very
go.
sweet. I'm so, honestly, the nail, and I say this every time I do anything nail related, but the first thing I did in the nail world was a live with Suzanne Nicole in lockdown, and I was like, "You're asking me to be on a live?" And anyway, it kind of just blew up from there, and I've been so lucky to be, invited into the nail world, and to be received um, so much, because there could just be people going, "Oh well, no, you don't get us, you don't understand." But I love working with nail artists and nail techs, but also you guys are so bad for not charging properly for the work you do. Like, hair is bad, nails are like,
Mm,
you guys are charging like 2013 for 2023
yeah.
work. And because I'm a fan of, I'm a good client of the nail world, I just really want the best for you guys as well. So, and for you to give me a platform and give me somewhere that I can share that, I'm like immensely grateful to you and to Scratch as well in particular.
Oh,
and
well,
for this.
we're very lucky to have you. And I mean,
Thank you.
you've helped over 15,000 people in the industry so far. And it's such a wonderful business that you're running. And so many people are learning from it. And, you know, I could chat to you all day, but I think
So
I'm just like, there's so much to learn and glean from you. But I mean, just to kind of round up, what's your key piece of advice at the moment for a nail beauty or hair professional that is kind of struggling in their business? What's your one bit of advice?
one takeaway is, and I don't know if you post about this, is understand the difference between fault and responsibility. It's not your fault that you're in a cost of living crisis, that the mortgage rates are going up, that there's competition around you, that you're in a low income area, or any of the other things. That's not your fault, but it's your responsibility what you do and how you navigate yourself through business. And there is so much more than you think in your control that's available to you, often for free, often for very low cost. Spend less energy and time thinking of what the problems are, especially when these are challenges out of your control, and instead refocus that energy on, okay, what can I do about it? Where can I go next with this? And how can I make this the best opportunity for me possible?
Amazing. Such
Thank you.
incredible advice. So thank you so much, Maddi. And I think
Thanks.
anyone watching this today, this will be posted all over our website, YouTube channel and our Instagram feed so that you can watch back. But head to bossyoursalon.com to take advantage of Maddi's amazing experience and advice and just immerse in her
Come
knowledge
on,
and her
Jack.
energy, I think. But Maddi, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you,
us today.
Hannah.
An
Thanks.
amazing columnist for
Appreciate
Scratch. And
it so much.
we will speak to you soon. Take care.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.